Hey everybody, this is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. I say that every time, but you never know when somebody might drop in who has never ever been here before. So I have to say, hey everybody, this is Lynn from A Bit of Birdsong. And in case anybody ever wonders where that name came from, I love birds, of course, but Birdsong is a family name. I have bird songs in my family going back to the late 1600s, early 1700s, and when they came over here, they changed it to Vogel. Well, it was Vogelsang, excuse me. It was Vogelsang in Germany, and they changed it to birdsong when they came here because that's what it means. Anyway, I'm selling this. And let me tell you why. I started going through my box of like lace and white and cream fabrics and trims and sort of shabby, what else do I have on that box? Quilted pieces, just different things, and I thought I need to get rid of some of this stuff. I need to share. And then I looked at this and I thought, well, why don't I just sell this, because I'm excited to make another one. Really, I kind of do that. I get, I go through these phases, and I have loved this so much. Yes, it is big and round, kind of like a tamale, but I love it. I love this thing, and it's so pretty. It smells good right now because it's had some potpourri in the box where it lives. But let's just flip through it. Many of you have seen it before, and it's got the pretty flower pinned on the front. It's a fun place to keep supplies. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect. It is something I put together to be able to have labeled pages, if you will, for different white and cream fabrics and trims. So we have flat, plain cotton, where I have pieces that are just that. It's flat, plain cotton. And there are different kinds. There's a piece of the striped. Now, I don't think that's supposed to be in there. It got out of place. That's one reason I'm flipping through this. I go to this all the time, and I'm so excited to make another one, and I'm also really excited to send this one off full of all sorts of supplies for you to treasure. I think I remember this piece of fabric from the day that I came out here and melted crayons and had fun with melting crayons, and I still have those pages. I'm still going to do something with those. You can see just all sorts of little pieces of cotton, big pieces of cotton, bags, trim. I love to tear off little bits of this muslin to stamp on and then sew it into my journals. So let's move on through. You get the picture. So then this section is candle wicking. This actually has lavender in it, and it's pinned to that page. One of my great aunts taught me to do candle wicking years ago. I was about 20 years old, and I would go spend the night with her. She was much older. She was like in her 70s, and there I was 20 years old, but there was absolutely no age gap with us. We would read together. We would go shopping together. She would cook, or I would cook, and she was very old-fashioned. Now, she was totally picking on me. She never did anything to hurt me. It would make me laugh so hard, which would then make her get even more. She would get a yardstick out, and she was totally playing, but she would say, it is time to go to bed. And of course, I wanted to stay up and keep talking. But we laughed and laughed. She is the one who showed me how to do this. Now, I didn't make this. This came from a gorgeous old bedspread. It has been washed. It's got stains on it, but I have used this so many times. This is all that I have left of that gorgeous bedspread. And it always makes me think of my aunt. Her name was Ollie, and believe it or not, we called each other Paper Sack. It's such a long, crazy story. So anyway, she had a pond on her property, and people would come pay like $1 to go fishing, and just very country, very down to earth. Born in the early 1900s, probably like 1916 or something like that. Just, you can't beat that, just a generation that we will never see again. So this section is patterned and embroidered pieces. All of the inventory or the stock or my supply or whatever in this kind of goes up and down depending on what I have. But there are some really gorgeous pieces in here, it looks like. Some of these you have seen before, maybe in kits or different things that I put together. Look at that. Sorry about the lint. It's almost impossible to keep everything pristine. It gets strings on it from other pieces. So there's that, and you know what? That's going in here, but it should be in a different section. So now we have doily pieces, and just lots of gorgeous, that goes back in the cotton. Gorgeous pieces of this and that. Love, love, love all of this stuff so much. And that's actually kind of like, that's almost like eyelet, but it's got the embroidery on it, so we'll just leave it there. And then that little gauzy piece needs to come out. So let's flip back over here and put this in with the plain cotton pieces. And okay, so now, and you see the little bird song, the letters. Here we go with trim pieces. And we have lace, there's some eyelet, there's a beautiful piece of something. And then that's where this goes. That's a couple of long pieces of vintage trim. Very, very beautiful. And I think that's just a wrinkled up little bit of trim there. I love this. I'm going to be making another one, and you will see it very soon. I will put another one together. I have enjoyed this so much, and again, I like that too. Look at the little beads. That probably should go in the doily section. This was a pair of pantaloons, and it was so, so delicate. This garment was just extremely delicate. It was ripping at every turn. It's very old. It's got a tiny little button there, and no zipper or tie or anything like that. It just buttoned at the waist, and I got this at a actually, a friend gave this to me, but it was from a garment exchange where people could get together and bring things that they wanted to trade instead of, you know, just getting rid of them. She saw this and she knew that I would love it, and she gave that to me. Look at that. So because it was falling apart, it's just not wearable. It's the fabric is just too thin, but I think it would still be beautiful in a craft. What is this? Satin and tulle and gauze. And you see there are all these little charms, the paper, safety pins, not paper clips. That goes with the trim. So here we have gauze, and I know what happened to that other piece. Yeah, it goes in there. And let's get the strings out. See, it's just a constant, but I mean, if you have to fiddle over something, is there anything you would rather be fiddling over than something like this? That's kind of gauzy, so I keep that in there. Let's see. And then look at all of this. Look at this beautiful, beautiful fabric. Oh my goodness. It's very tempting to just start on something right now where I could use that. So you can see other little satiny pieces. I love things like this. See where the stitching was? I don't know what that went to, but I love it. And then that and that. We have some netting in this pocket. This next section is canvas and burlap. Now that's not too bad. Sometimes burlap has a strong smell, and I love that this has the red line on it. This actually does not. And I know scents kind of fade, and I don't like for things to go out of here smelling really strong like perfume or anything like that. But I typically buy some of the nicer potpourri, you know, from a place like Tuesday Morning or something, and dump the whole bag into like a rice bag or something, the canvas rice bags. or burlap rice bags where, you know, you can still smell everything, but the debris doesn't get on everything. It's not free floating, but it smells good. It smells better than some of the other things. And so let's go back through. Let's get back over here to doily pieces and put this in here. And then I'm going to put this little beaded thing into the trim. I think I'll go ahead and lay that into trim. That is trim, and I'll put that little piece in trim. So this is going into the shop. Oh my goodness. You know, I'm really happy to be putting it into the shop. I'm at a point where it's kind of like a transition or something. We start moving towards maybe not necessarily a different style, but doors start to open up for things that we want to do. And I think just sharing that, the crafting, that, you know, the love and the inspiration, it takes the inspiration to somebody else. It's like there was a traveling skirt for a while on a bunch of fashion blogs that I followed, and these different ladies, each one that would get that traveling skirt would take a picture in it, and then they would add some element, whether it was flowers or embroidery or painting on it, or you know, altering it in some way, but just not changing the garment itself. And I think art is kind of like that. We bounce off of each other and we get ideas, like yesterday when I visited 49 Dragonflies, which I'm all over the place. I spent some time with Penelope Marshall today, and I loved watching her videos. But yeah, this needs to go inspire somebody else and be a part of their craft room. And I'm going to make another one to inspire myself. I've rambled too much. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm still cleaning out and working and going to list some more. I have so many packs, so I will be back really soon.